Welcome back to Body Thrive Book Club. So we're here now in habit 3, start the day right. We've been through earlier, later dinners and the more conscious before bed routine. So now we're looking at what happens next. But before we do, let's talk about what's going on in your book club. I imagine some people are starting to have some breakthroughs, some insights, revelations. Some people right now are probably feeling a lot better. And other people probably haven't done a darn thing. And that's okay. So we really want to make room for everybody and how we're showing up. But also for those who are really struggling getting going, we might want to revisit, hey, what's your why? Why are you here? What do you want to experience? And then which little behavioral science change is the most appealing to you? Is it the little 1% improvement? Is it creating a trigger and a new habit and a reward? What kind of trigger is really going to work for you? And some people might say like, hey, it's a time trigger. When I wake up in the morning, even if I just drink 2 cups of water, that's in alignment with the Start the Day Right habit we're doing this week, that like, hey, that's something I can do. And then do they need to check it off on the list or check it off in a little app on their iPhone, right? It doesn't matter. But taking time to start to use some of these tools, break things down with each other, can be a nice thing to do, especially if you have a bigger group, to break into partners and go through an exercise of like, hey, let's really look at what habit seems to be making the biggest difference so far. And again, it might be a micro habit within a larger habit. Say if we look at the earlier, later dinner, the micro habit might be using a smaller plate. It seems so, I love the science on this one, right? Like you just simply use a smaller plate and you eat less? Really? Like what about someone who loves to eat ice cream at night? If you switch to a smaller bowl, like is that all you really need to do to make a little bit of progress and feel a little bit better and then to gain a little momentum and then keep improving at that 1% rate? And what we find is like, yeah, the science backs it up. There's been enough studies now that show that eating from a smaller plate, eating from a smaller bowl works. We even have these little micro spoons in my house. They're like little baby spoons. And I often use those to eat like sorbet. I don't eat sorbet every night, but when I do, I'll just use a little precious bowl and a little precious spoon, and it's a precious experience, right? So really getting into what is starting to work, what is starting to sink in. I recommend doing that in a partner exercise and creating a lot of space for the other person's experience, not needing necessarily to give advice to each other. Maybe just reflecting from your own experience is a powerful way to start. Okay, now talking about the next habit. So talking about start the day right. In the book, you may have read about my history with constipation and how I was basically dehydrated. I've worked with enough people over the last almost 15 years as an Ayurvedic practitioner to know that most people don't start the day with enough water. So simply drinking, for many people, up to a quart of water to simply flush the system is a big, bold new habit. And you might find that you can't drink that much water. And so just starting with like a cup or two, especially if you're used to starting the day with a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or a cup of juice, this can be a big step, and it's a great place to start. For other people, the habit might be dialed in. The hydration elimination might be dried in which case the other part of this habit, which is really about starting the day with a bigger perspective of knowing your place in the cosmos. This is a muscle that we want to start to build. So we want to start to feel into the biggest possible context for our life. This is where the habits too, while up to this point we've talked about the habits more from a physical and feeling great physically, energetically standpoint, at this point it really breaks more into the spiritual. So how do we situate our perspective throughout the day? Is it just like John Lennon said, the I, me, my, like it's all about me, or are we more of in a perspective where we feel into like the deep time of the cosmos and the deep space of being in expanding universes, right? And does that actually align our life so that the little things matter less, and that which is more important starts to bubble up? Do we have a practice that helps us live from the perspective that we want to be living from. So for many of us, this could be something we're already doing, and we actually can use this week to go back to some of the other habits and look for other refinements. Maybe we buff out our meal planner this week. Maybe we learn a little bit about essential oils for our body type and use those in our before bed routine. For others, so this is going to be a new big habit of like, okay, I want to do a 1-minute perspective enhancing practice, or I just need to drink water and see if I can poop. Like for honestly the majority of people that I've worked with, that's like the big breakthrough with habit number 3. All right, so again, just to recap, in your book club this week, you're going to do a partner exercise and centering that around one habit that's starting to gain traction and how you can grow that stronger. And then the next part is starting to talk about start the day right.